They sleep on him so
Joe
cold.
Rogan experience.
Now, Daryl, I want to talk to you about your personal experience on Minds with this, with what you do, what you're known for. Have you had interactions with people on Minds that have been favorable? That you've kind of pushed people into a
I've had a few, and I've had my share of detractors. Some people think what I'm doing is totally wrong and don't get me or whatever. But yeah, I've had interactions with some people.
When you say like people have said it's totally wrong, like what kind of criticisms do they have for that?
It depends upon where they're coming from. Some people think it's not my job to teach white people how to treat us. Us meaning black people. Mm-hmm. Others think it's ridiculous to sit down with a white supremacist. Why would you waste your time? Those people can't change.
But do you point to your success ratio? Because it's pretty amazing.
Oh yeah, I point to that. But a lot of people, they don't see that because they would not tolerate the time to sit down and have somebody tell them some nonsense that Jews are the childs of the devil or some crazy things like that. I will sit and listen to that, and I will put up with it. Because in order for me to speak my mind, I have to listen to somebody else's.
Yes.
Right? So they're not willing to put in that time. I am.
Yeah. And so how do you have the time to do this?
This is what I do. Yeah. In between my music gigs.
Yeah. But I mean, like what kind of commitment are you talking about? Like how much time do you spend doing this?
A lot. I mean, it's my life now.
How many email dialogues?
Oh God, I get emails all the time. I get emails from people I don't even know. I even get emails from people who've seen me on podcasts or on TV shows. These are white supremacists, Klansmen, whatever, and say, you made some sense in it. Would you like my robe? I've even gotten robes and hoods in the mail from people I don't even know. Yes. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of sad people that just need a group of people to belong to, and they'll decide that what these people are saying makes sense because at least they'll be a part of it now.
Let me explain something to you. One's perception, as you already know, one's perception is one's reality, okay? You cannot change anybody's reality. If you try to change their reality, you're going to get pushback because they only know what they know. Whether it's real or not, it's their reality. So what you want to do is you want to offer them a better alternative perception. And if they resonate with your perception, then they will change their own reality because their perception becomes their reality. Just a quick example. Let's say you got a 7 or 8-year-old brother, right? And he goes to a magic show with his buddies. And he comes back and tells you, Joe, this magician, he asked for a female volunteer and 50 women raised their hand. He picked up this one, come up on stage. He told her to climb into this long box and stick her feet out that hole and put her head out this hole. And then he closed the lid, told her to wiggle her feet, and she kicked her legs. And he took a chainsaw and went and cut that box in half. He cut that woman in half. And you're like, it didn't really happen like that. Yes, it did. I was there. You weren't even there. I saw it with my own eyes. You are challenging his reality. He knows what he saw. And that magician cut that woman in half. And then to make it even more obvious to you, he tells you that the magician, after he cut the box in half, took the half with the legs sticking out and moved it over here to stage right, and the half with the head over here to stage left, and then he went over there and talked to the head of the woman, and she talked back to him. And then he brought the two halves back together, opened the box, and out popped the woman full form, no blood. He cut her in half, and he put it back together. And you're saying, it was just an illusion. No, it wasn't. I saw it with my own eyes. I was there. You weren't even there. So, you're attacking his reality. He's going to resist. He's going to fight you. All right? So what you do is you offer him a better perception. You say, hey, listen, I hear what you're saying, but could it be possible that just maybe out of those 50 women that raised their hands and he picked one, maybe she works for him? Maybe he planted her in the audience. She knows the trick. She travels to every show around the country with him. And when she gets in the box, there's a pair of mannequin legs laying on the floor of the box that are wearing the same stockings and same shoes that she has on. She picks them up, shoves them out the hole. When he says, move your feet, she just shakes those things. And then she brings her own legs up under her chest. So her whole body is on that half of the box. So the saw doesn't even touch her. And obviously, when he separates the two halves, the feet are over there. Now she can't move them. So he has to distract your attention by going over here. So you're not looking at those feet. And he's talking to the head, and she's talking back. Of course, when he brings them back together, she pulls the dummy legs, leaves them on the floor of the box. She climbs out. And then your brother says, I guess that would be the only way that would work. You've offered him a better perception. And that perception then becomes his reality. So don't attack somebody's reality, regardless of what it is, even if you know it to be false. Give them a better perception and allow them to resonate with it, because it's always better when somebody comes to the conclusion, I've been wrong, maybe this is something I need to think about. Yeah, this will work.
It's a perfect.
Isn't that a great example?
It is.
People are so, especially nowadays, both sides politically, but also religiously, like atheists and theists.
Yes.
People who are like science, and then people who are like, religion.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just making fun of each other,
Just come together.
yeah, let's just talk about it. I mean, now, no one said that's going to be easy,
Oh.
but when you get to that point where you want to do that, you can practice it, right? And the practicing of it makes it
form of art.
easier.
It makes like a form of art, and then once you kind of got
It's
it,
what did you say?
like a form of, it's like an art.
Yes,
It's an art form. It's like
It is.
That's a gift. Where
you know what that is?
What is it?
That's dialogue. That's literally, Grace. So what we're doing is literally that. It's a dialogue. That's what like philosophy is. That's what Socrates.
Oh yeah.
That was his whole thing, was dialogue.
They all thought he was crazy.
They killed him. Well, they had him killed.
Yeah, I know.
Had him kill himself, right?
What color was Socrates?
Well, he was Greek, so he was probably olive-skinned.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
I always thought, because I thought he was like an Italian, like tan. I don't know. 'Cause
Right.
I seen
Yeah,
different.
tan, olive skin. Yeah, Italian, Greek style.
Oh, like
Darker skinned.
I seen the one picture of him. He fine. Killed that man, but but that man. I mean, I've never seen him before, but listen to him. If he's talking to supremacists, we had this talk last week. How
He does.
How people at my job would get mad at me
Yeah.
because I was saying stuff that they looked at me like I was crazy. I'm like, how are you going to be about civil rights if you're black like me
Yeah.
and say you don't want to see this racism, but you don't understand the cause and effects? Like, okay, the Black Lives Matter movement.
Right.
I have to bring that up really quick. The reason why I was getting pissed because I have family that live in the rural South. All my family is not in the city limits. I'm not saying that God knows they not going to do that where they at because my people don't play. But certain parts of Mississippi, Alabama, they need somebody like that because when those people in those small towns, the Klan got every right to do what they want to do. But to keep certain black people in line to this day, because I didn't see Black Lives Matter movement making sure black people in them small little towns that's going through that type of pressure, were they good?
Yeah.
It only made those people go through it a little worse because there's no TV coverage.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like something like that, what he's doing, would help those people in those small farming communities because he's making a difference. He's probably going, and you notice they're not saying what parts of the state he's going into because if you pay attention, we have racism, but you don't see it unless something goes down.
We talk who has racism?
Like, every place has a bit of racism somewhere.
Right,
But California, it's not as open as it is in certain parts of Mississippi and Alabama.
Right, yeah.
Even in my hometown, I mean, I ain't going to bring up certain landmarks because I don't want to get sued, but everybody in town know not to go to this certain restaurant. You cannot go to this certain restaurant. You can go to the other restaurant because that's an everybody restaurant, but this one restaurant, they not going to tell you not to go in there. It's just, you just know.
Right. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Those certain towns like that, they'll go mess with those people in that town to make them a little scared, like don't get no ideas because you see that on TV.
Right.
So you'll start, think about it. They ain't gonna talk about how many houses then got burnt down. That's just like in my town. Yeah, I'm gonna name a city. It's called Snake Island, and it's in a little city called England, Arkansas. They burn crosses almost every other day. And then people be down there just picking cotton, looking at a cross burning. Well, we got to get this done.
Right.
He would be great. I mean, you can't stop them people from burning crosses, but you ain't gonna see no new coverage going down there watching because they don't talk about that. So it's like,
I want you to watch the rest of this.
Example of not silencing people's ideas.
Would you agree with that statement?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And let me just give you an example of that. Okay, so I'm interviewing a Klan leader, white supremacist, right? And I ask, how can you hate me? You don't even know me. All you see is this. You come in my room 5 minutes ago, and you've already determined, whatever you determine. Well, Mr. Davis, black people are prone to crime, and that is evidenced by the fact that there are more blacks in prison than white people. Now, I'm just sitting here listening to this guy. He's calling me a criminal, and but he's right. He's 100% right. The data and the statistics show that there are more blacks in prison than white people. So that feeds what he already thinks he knows, the data, right? But he does not go to find out why does that data show that. He doesn't realize there may be an imbalance in our judicial system that send black people to prison for longer periods of time than white people who've committed the same crime. All right, so I just listen to him, right? Because when he walks in that room and he sees me, I'm the enemy. His wall goes up. His ears are like this, you know. He's ready to defend whatever his stance is. So I'm just listening. And then he goes on to say, you know, black people are inherently lazy. They always have their hand out for a freebie. They're always trying to scam the government welfare programs and all that kind of stuff. So now he's called me a criminal. Now he's calling me lazy. And I'm just sitting here listening. I'm not pushing back. And then he says, and black people are born with smaller brains. And the larger the brain, the more capacity for intelligence. The smaller the brain, the lower the IQ. So now I'm being called stupid. Now, it's what he says that this is evidenced by the fact that every year the data shows that black high school students consistently score lower on the SATs than white kids do. Again, he's 100% correct. That does show that. Right? But he doesn't realize why. All right. Where do most black kids in this country go to school? In the inner city. Where do most white kids go to school? In the suburbs. It is a fact. Suburban schools are better funded. They have better facilities, better teachers, etc. I will guarantee you, white kids who go to school in the inner city can score just as low as those black kids, if not some lower. Yeah. Black kids who go to school in the suburbs can score just as high as the white kids, if not higher. It has absolutely nothing to do with the color of the student's skin or the size of the student's brain, but it has everything to do with the educational system in which that child is enrolled. But, of course, he won't go to research that because the data already supports what he already believes, that I'm inferior. So now he's called me all these things. I've already done my research on him. I know this guy sitting across from me just barely made it out of high school. I have a college degree. So do I throw that in his face? No. But because I sat there and listened to him, that wall is coming down. Because you cannot impart information to somebody when the wall is up. It's like hitting a brick wall. Mm-hmm. You want that wall to come down, and then the ears open up. So now he's exhausted all his vitriol, and now he's wondering, like, how come this black person isn't pushing up against me like most of them do? And he's curious as to what I think about what he just said. So now the wall is down, and he feels compelled to reciprocate because I sat there and listened to him insult me. So now it's my turn. I could go on the offense and say, no, you are the one who's a criminal. You're the one hanging black men from trees and dragging them behind pickup trucks and bombing their churches. And I would be 100% correct because the Klan has over a 100-year history of doing that. But if I did that, that wall would go right back up. So I don't want that to happen. I want to keep the wall down and let him hear what I'm saying. So I say, so rather than go on the offense, I go on the defense. And I say, listen, I hear what you're saying. However, I don't have a criminal record, and I'm as black as anybody you've ever seen. So I don't have a criminal record. I've never been on welfare. As far as my brain size goes, I've never measured the size of my brain, but I'm sure it's the same size as anybody else's. And as far as my SAT scores go, they got me into college. Now, I already know that he doesn't have a college degree. I do. Does it make me a better person than him? No. But it gives me a better experience, right? So I let him know this. He goes home. And he thinks, just like we all do at the end of the day, we reflect on what we did during the day. He thinks, man, I just had a 3-hour conversation with a black guy, when we didn't come to blows. And what that Darryl guy said, it makes sense. Oh, but he's black. But what he said was true. Oh, but he's black. So they're having a cognitive dissonance, right? And they struggle with that for a while. And then they have that dilemma. I got to make up my mind, what am I going to do? So the dilemma is, do I disregard whatever color he is and believe the truth because I know it to be true and change my ideological direction? Or do I consider the color of his skin and continue living a lie? In most cases, people will follow the truth. But then there will be those who don't want to give it the power or the notoriety or whatever, and they will follow the lie.
Well, the way you're doing it is brilliant because you're doing it so patiently and contrary to the way most people handle arguments. Most people handle arguments by trying to shut down the other person's argument and shit all over them instead of trying to, what you're saying, offer an alternative perspective, which is really probably the only way to get people to think about things in a different light.
And, Joe, that comes from the fact that I've done a lot of travel. Okay, I've been exposed to people from all over the world, and we all got along. We all got along.
We told a story on
Yeah.
the podcast the first time you hear about not even understanding racism until you were a child because you grew up overseas.
Right, exactly. And so I saw that. So I saw something that they have not seen.
Right.
And that's why I want to share that with them vicariously, to let them know. No, it's, every white person in the world is not like every white person in this country.
Right.
Every black person in the world is not like every black person in this country. There are white people over in France, like in the 1940s and 50s, a lot of black Americans moved to France to live. Some even gave up their U.S. citizenship because the French people were treating them as equals. They didn't see color, and those French people were a lot more white than the white people here in this country who might be mixing something else. So, people need to see. In fact, my favorite quote of all time is by Mark Twain, or otherwise known as Samuel Clemens. It's called the travel quote. And Mark Twain said, quote unquote, "Travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness, and many of our people need it sorely on these accounts. Broad, wholesome, charitable views of men and things cannot be acquired by vegetating in one little corner of the earth all one's lifetime."
That guy was
Yes.
so good.
Wasn't he?
But like you can't
Come
you
on.
got it
That put a smile on my face.
right? You know what I mean? Like this is the type of conversation that you have to have instead of some Karen out there saying, "Stop being racist. Be anti-racist." It's like, dude, relax.
I've never encountered that before. I didn't even know what a Karen was. I don't know if I ever told you that, but yeah, I didn't know what it was.
Pull that microphone a little closer.
Sorry, I didn't know what a Karen was until all this pandemic stuff. I never encountered a woman like that. I think them women know. Not bringing that up. Not to run up on me with that shit, but
Yeah.
not like that. But I understand.
I feel like the Karens are kind of like thinking that they're saving the world somehow. It's like a sense of importance when they start spouting out, "Don't be racist, be anti-racist."
Because it's extreme. Like I've seen cases with people with their phones. People thought they took their phones.
Yeah.
I've seen some crazy shit. But point being to what you're saying, you're absolutely right. It has a lot to do with perception, and it has a lot to do with listening and hearing what that person has to say. Because at the end of the day, you can't change anybody's mind, but you could try to alter their perception a little bit to get. It's got to be some understanding.
Yeah.
If it makes sense.
Yeah, of course.
And a lot of people don't have that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't.
They don't.
But that's why you and I get along with the people we get along with.
I know.
Because we're willing to listen. You know what I mean?
We're so. I'm laughing because if people was in our head and actually knew our every day and how we met, that's like what's so funny. The person I'm dating, I have to bring it up because you got the conversations me and this man have it's like he's hood.
Right.
Does he have white friends?
No white friends, yeah.
Right. And a lot of black people I know that's in my community, they have white friends, but not like they white friends ain't like my white friends. Like I'm not bragging. I'm blessed to have, because I'm part white as well, and I'm black, but I'm blessed to have my friends. So when we were comparing our friends, right? He used the Cat Williams quote.
Okay.
Get you some white friends. But I never listened to Cat Williams' quote. That quote didn't apply to me. You probably think of what they got to do with perception.
I love that bit. Get you some white friends.
I had white friends all my life. I never looked at it the way, but he was telling more black people that because inner cities, like people think we all scam. We all do get down stuff. But then you got to look at the situation. When people do stuff like that, look at their situation. They either got put in a cross, their paperwork probably got messed up in hell. When your light bill due and you hungry, you going to get out here and do what you got to do. So that's why probably scamming is bad. But the reason why he was telling people like that to go make some white friends, because you are who you are, surround yourself around.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Now, if you're around good people, whether they white, blue, green, purple, your life will change.
Yeah, it's true.
If you're around a bunch of scammers all day, y'all gonna be rich around each other. Then you're gonna be trying to blow each other head off because you're not gonna want to see one doing better than the other.
Yeah.
But when you probably think of what the white bit, like me and him was talking, and that's what brought it up. He was because his demographic of friends, I can deal with them, but if we got married, they wouldn't be at my damn house.
Right, exactly.
But I was comparing y'all. I'm like, y'all like family. I'm like, we're the type of people, we sit down, we have dinner, we go do stuff. He was like, wow, I would like to do that. Like,
right.
Now I started noticing he's doing that stuff with his friends. Like,
oh, good. I mean, you know.
I get tickled because I see him trying to.
It's true. Yeah.
He was trying to eat some soup.
What?
He was trying to eat some soup and then I said, we don't go to dinner. Like, but I see some of my influencers. He tried to make a white friend, but I have to show you the video.
Okay.
I can't do it on here. He went and made a white friend and put him in the video, and the boy got scared.
He got scared?
Cause he rough, like.
Right, yeah.
So I was just saying, he got a good point about teaching that white man, like, cause some people, I got inner city friends.
Right.
People be scared to talk to them because they just a little bit rough.
Yeah.
That's why I said, go. It ain't gotta be white people. Go make you some child with Chinese person, whoop your ass too. So it's just like, you gotta find some calm people. White people are calm.
Yeah.
Cool white people that like to go surfing.
Yeah. Right.
He tried to get him one of them surfer friends. I was darn like, you gotta baby steps.
Yeah.
So he's trying to make.
Yeah, match that energy.
Cause he
don't come in with your high energy. With a surfer, bro. You're like, whoa, man. Dude,
my favorite part, I heard him on the phone. He was like, "Where you get that surfboard at?"
Hey, where'd you get that surfboard?
And I was like, and I feel bad for the dude. He's like, bro, you're not giving a board, dude. And
he went on the offensive.
He's like, man, fuck you. I just wanted to make a friend. I'm sorry for talking about you. I ain't gonna say his name.
That's funny.
Cause I downloaded all his videos to show him. Cause when he drinks, he's a whole nother person.
Right.
But I've seen him I think he's not mimicking my lifestyle, but he trips out how me and you friends, because people don't believe me and you are friends. They look at you and be like, he looks like a fed. You go over there tell the fed shit. I had one homeboy, man, you ain't coming to fuck up my house, man. That man look, he working with narcotics, man. I'm like, you from the fucking 70s. No, motherfucker, you not.
You're from the 70s.
Like, he talk like he be like doing some job. Man, look at that motherfucker, man. They gonna tell everybody we over here selling crack and shit. I ain't selling motherfucking crack. What? Wait, why? Whoa.
Oh my God, that's
hilarious.
hilarious.
A lot of my friends think your ass is a cop.